Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Countries often seem strong and permanent. We believe they will always exist, staying the same forever. But if we truly look at history, we quickly learn that this is not always true. Many great nations have risen to power and then, over time, have fallen. Big empires that once controlled vast lands no longer exist today. The borders drawn on world maps have moved and changed countless times across centuries. The very ground beneath our feet has likely been part of different countries or kingdoms many times in the past. And in the coming decades, the familiar map of our world might change significantly once more. This book will explore which nations are most likely to disappear or change greatly in the next 50 years. We will look closely at the different dangers facing these places. There are three main reasons why a country might face such a difficult future. First, war can completely destroy a nation, whether from fighting inside its own borders or from conflicts with other countries. Second, internal failure can weaken a country from within, such as when governments cannot work effectively or when many people are very unhappy and protest. Third, rising sea levels are a very real and growing threat, especially for small island nations, where land can slowly vanish under the vast ocean. We will discuss these important reasons and more in the following chapters, examining specific examples around the globe. 2. Small islands in danger. Fiji is a group of over 300 islands in the Pacific Ocean. This beautiful nation is in great danger. Rising sea levels are a big problem for its people. The government has identified 40 communities that are very vulnerable to climate change. This means their homes and land could disappear under the sea. A large part of Fiji, 2 out of every 3, live close to the coast. Already, 6 towns have had to move. People do not want to leave their homes, but they must. Moving an entire community is hard. It costs a lot of money and takes much planning. More than that, it means people must leave their ancestral lands. This causes much sadness and worry as they lose their old ways of life and their connection to their heritage. For example, local people relied on growing food from their land, but now this is harder because of changes in the environment. Scientists say that if the sea rises by only 63 centimeters, over 6% of Fiji's buildings will be underwater. Higher sea level rises are expected by the year 2100. Strong storms also hit Fiji often. These tropical cyclones are getting more powerful. In 2016, Cyclone Winston caused terrible damage. It killed 44 people and destroyed homes. The cost of damage was $1.4 billion. This was a huge amount for Fiji, more than 1/4 of all the money the country makes in a year. Such big losses make it very hard for Fiji to recover and grow. The idea of the country disappearing is a sad reality for many. Another island nation facing similar dangers is Vanuatu. In 2023, two strong storms hit the country. First, Cyclone Judy brought heavy floods. Then, Tropical Cyclone Kevin followed. It was a very powerful storm with winds of 230 kilometers per hour. The capital city, Port Vila, was badly damaged. About 80% of Vanuatu's 320,000 people were affected. Many lost their houses. Others lost access to electricity, clean water, or phone services. The people who lived in simpler, makeshift homes suffered the most. They lost everything. Vanuatu is not a rich country, so recovering from such disasters is very difficult. Many people were left without shelter or food. Most people in Vanuatu, about 80%, grow their own food to live. They farm crops like yams, taro, and sweet potato. But rising sea levels are harming this way of life. Salt water from the ocean is mixing with fresh water and coming onto farmland. This destroys crops. The sea around Vanuatu is rising faster than the global average, about half a centimeter each year since 1993. These continuous changes threaten their food supply and their ability to earn a living, making their future very difficult. The very existence of Vanuatu as a country is uncertain due to these serious threats. 3. More islands at risk. The story of islands facing danger continues. Another nation at great risk is Kiribati. It lies in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. This country has around 120,000 people. Its land is very low, with an average height of only 6 feet, 1.8 meters above sea level. This means even a small rise in sea levels can cause huge problems for its people and their homes. Scientists say that by the end of the 21st century, Kiribati's islands could face over 100 days of flooding each year. This is a real and present danger. Kiribati has already lost 2 islands to the sea. Abanua and Tibua Tarawa were flooded in 1999 and are now always underwater. They were not populated, but fishermen once used these islands as important rest stops. Kiribati's government is desperate to find solutions. Former President Anote Tong bought 6,000 acres of land in Fiji. This land might be a new home for Kiribati's citizens. There were even talks with a Japanese engineering firm about building a floating island. Half of Kiribati's population lives in its capital, South Tarawa. If this main island goes underwater, the country would face a very difficult future. Next, we look at the Maldives, which is known for its beautiful beaches and is a popular vacation spot. This country is the flattest on Earth. Its average height is only 3 feet, 0.9 meters above sea level. Many of its islands are even lower than this average. About 80% of its coral islands are less than 3 feet high. This makes them extremely vulnerable to rising oceans. The Union of Concerned Scientists, UCS, has studied the Maldives' future. They predict that if the sea level rises by 1.5 feet, 0.4 meters, about 77% of the country's 1,200 islands could be underwater by 2,100. The problem is not just losing land. Salt water will also flood fresh drinking water sources, making them unusable. Frequent flooding would also affect any islands left above water. The Maldives has about 540,000 people. They might have to find new countries to live in. Other experts suggest an even higher rise in sea levels, making the vast majority of the Maldives uninhabitable. The future of this island nation is very uncertain. 4. A big country in trouble. The United Kingdom is a large country and one of the world's leading economies. However, its future shape might change greatly. We are not saying the UK will completely disappear. Instead, it could become much smaller, potentially losing 2 of its 4 countries, Scotland and Northern Ireland. The UK is currently made up of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. For a long time, the UK has faced economic problems. First, there was the Great Recession in 2008, which slowed down economic growth. Then, in 2020, the UK left the European Union, an event known as Brexit. Both of these events have made the country's economic and political future look less stable. The rate at which the UK produces goods and services has not grown as fast as in other major countries. Brexit also created new difficulties for trade and reduced the amount of money that businesses invested in the country. Experts believe that if Brexit had not happened, businesses would have invested much more. These economic struggles have led some parts of the UK to consider leaving. In Scotland, the movement for independence has grown stronger, especially among young people. Many younger voters, such as those between 16 and 34 years old, strongly support Scotland becoming an independent country. Polls show that a large majority of this age group would vote for independence. What is more, people who want independence often hold much stronger views compared to those who wish to stay in the UK. The situation in Northern Ireland is also changing. The Republic of Ireland, its neighbor, has seen its economy boom. Many large global companies have moved there, creating numerous job opportunities. Northern Ireland, which was once wealthier than the Republic of Ireland, has now fallen behind. The Good Friday Agreement, a peace deal, allows for a vote for Northern Ireland to join the Republic of Ireland if a majority of its people wish to do so. If Scotland chooses to become independent and Northern Ireland decides to reunite with the Republic of Ireland, the United Kingdom would look very different. It would then mainly consist of England and Wales. This shows that even big and powerful countries can experience big changes to their borders and identity due to economic issues and the strong will of their people. This reshaping would change the map of Europe. 5. A big powers plan. China says Taiwan is part of its country. Beijing believes Taiwan is a Chinese province. But Taiwan has its own democratic government and does not agree. This has caused much tension. China has made big threats to Taiwan's independence for many years. It has built up its navy and military forces. Many experts think China might plan to invade Taiwan one day. China wants Taiwan for a few reasons. One is a nationalistic claim, calling it reunification. Another reason is to change the power balance in the world. If China takes Taiwan, it would become stronger than the United States in the region. Taiwan is important in the island chain strategy. These are islands allied with the U.S. that stop China from easily moving its navy into the Western Pacific Ocean. They also help control trade routes. Taiwan has strong defenses. One is the support from the United States. However, the U.S. promise to protect Taiwan has sometimes been unclear. Another key defense for Taiwan is its control over the world's advanced computer chips, called semiconductors. Taiwan makes 60% of all semiconductors and 90% of the most advanced ones. This is a very important industry. Both U.S. and Taiwanese officials have said they would rather destroy this industry than let China take it. If the world could not make new smartphones or other electronics, it would cause big problems. This makes China think twice about a full invasion. But China does not have to start a war to gain control. It uses what are called gray zone tactics. These are actions that are not full war, but still put pressure on Taiwan. China already uses some of these. They include cyber attacks on Taiwan's computer systems. China also sends its planes into Taiwan's airspace. It uses economic pressure, making it hard for Taiwanese businesses that work with mainland China. Also, China spreads false information to weaken Taiwan's spirit. The goal is to make Taiwan feel that becoming part of China is unavoidable, slowly making it lose its wish to be independent. Some Taiwanese companies are already feeling this pressure strongly. The Taiwan government is trying to move investments to other parts of Asia, but some people think it might be too late. 6. Countries at war. Yemen has been in a serious civil war since 2014. This conflict is between Houthi rebels, who are supported by Iran, and the country's government, which has Saudi Arabia as an ally. This long war has no clear end. More than 10 years ago, Houthi rebels took over the capital city, Sana'a. They asked the government to lower fuel prices and for the president to step down. When President Abd Rabbu Mansur Hadi said no, armed Houthis took his palace. This led to Saudi Arabia acting against the Houthis. They used economic pressure and military attacks with help from the United States. Since then, the situation in Yemen has become much worse. The United Nations says that 20 million people out of a population of 40 million need help to live. 5 million people have lost their homes and had to move because of the fighting and great poverty. Yemen is in danger of a massive hunger crisis. On top of this, Yemen has a big water problem. It is a very dry country and gets little rain. Now, much of the water system has been broken or made dirty by the war. The government is too busy fighting to fix these problems. As of 2025, Yemen has very little water for each person, much less than other countries in the region. The ongoing war, hunger, lack of water, and a weak government mean Yemen might not stay as it is today. South Sudan, the world's newest country, might also be the most likely to collapse. It became independent from Sudan in 2011 after many years of fighting. People in the south, who were mostly Christian, wanted freedom from the government in the north. But new countries, especially those born from violence and poverty, can be unstable. Just 2 years after it began, South Sudan had its own civil war from 2013 to 2020. This conflict added to the pain from 2 earlier, long civil wars in Sudan. These wars left deep marks on the country. South Sudan built a very large military, which included many rebel groups. These groups became strong but also disorganized. President Salva Kiir's government has had to make many changing alliances to survive. Now, the war in neighboring Sudan has also affected South Sudan. Since February 2025, the government's military has been fighting different groups, like the White Army Militia and a splinter group called SPLM-AIO. President Kiir first allied with Sudan's armed forces, but then changed to support another group, the Rapid Support Forces. This made the Sudanese armed forces support Kiir's enemies. This change happened after a key oil pipeline, which South Sudan uses to export oil, was damaged in the Sudan War. This caused a big financial problem for South Sudan. With so many conflicts and money troubles, South Sudan's future is very unsure. 7. Countries in chaos. Ethiopia is a large country in Africa that faces a big risk of breaking apart. Many experts believe it could split into smaller regions like some countries did in the past. From 2020 to 2022, a serious war happened in the Tigray region. The government fought against militants there. This war ended in November 2022, but it left much damage. About 600,000 people died, and many crimes during the war were not punished. By 2024, over 3 million people inside Ethiopia had to leave their homes because of the fighting. The Tigray region was mostly destroyed. After this war, tensions remained high. In 2024, other parts of the country also saw rebellions. Groups in the Oromia and Amhara regions fought against the central government. Then, conflict started again in Tigray, and the government lost control there. Ethiopia also has problems with its neighbors. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said he wants access to a port on the Red Sea. This made Eritrea, a neighboring country that controls the Red Sea coast, very unhappy. Ethiopia also upset Somalia when it recognized a breakaway region called Somaliland. With so much fighting inside the country and arguments with neighbors, it is hard for the Ethiopian government to keep control. Without serious talks between all groups, Ethiopia might break up into several smaller countries. Another country in deep trouble is Haiti. Many people there do not worry about climate change, even though it brings hurricanes and floods. Their daily problems are much more urgent. Gangs now control most of the capital city, Port-au-Prince, and a lot of the rest of the country. The United Nations says gangs control 80% of the capital. Haiti has a long history of problems, like poverty, hunger, and a weak government. After it became independent, France made Haiti pay a huge debt. This made the country poor for a very long time. In 2010, a big earthquake killed 220,000 people and caused a lot of damage. Haiti never truly got better after that. In 2021, President Jovenel Moïse was killed. After his death, the Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, took power but did not call for new elections. This allowed gangs to become even stronger. They took control of ports and airports. This means that food and other important supplies cannot easily reach people who need them. By April 2025, almost half of Haiti's population, about 5.7 million people, did not have enough food. 2 million of them faced extreme hunger. Today, Haiti still has no president. A group was supposed to organize elections but has failed for 4 years. With 1 million people forced from their homes and a record 5,600 murders in 2024, Haiti faces a very uncertain future. 8. What happens next? This book has explored many nations that could face big changes or even disappear. We learned that rising sea levels are a major threat to small island nations. Places like Fiji, Vanuatu, Kiribati, and the Maldives are at risk of losing land to the ocean. People there are already moving their homes because of floods and strong cyclones. This impacts their daily lives and traditions. We also looked at how larger countries can have problems from within. The United Kingdom, for instance, might become smaller if Scotland or Northern Ireland choose to become independent. Other nations, such as Yemen, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Haiti, are in deep trouble from long wars or widespread chaos. Their governments struggle, and many people face hunger, lack of water, and constant conflict. Taiwan also deals with a powerful neighbor that wants to claim it. The core message is that these changes come with a huge human cost. People lose their houses, their unique cultures, and often their lives. Traditions that have been important for many generations can be lost forever. Many families must leave their homes and seek safety in new places. This raises an important question. Is the world truly ready for these massive events? Are we prepared to help so many people and places? What do you believe will happen to these countries in the next 50 years?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.